What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Anthony Sain Show. This is, of course, your host, Anthony Sain here. Mega producer, super producer, the stars, Kenny Stubblefield in the building. What's going on, my brother?
My brother, man. It's good to see you, dude.
Man, it is episode 99, man. I'm feeling good, man. It's good to be seen. Episode 99 here at the Anthony Sain Show, man. We're almost at 100. Friday show will be episode 100. I have a great guest for Friday, but I have a huge guest today, Kenny Stubblefield, legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach. Lionel Hollins is going to be on the show today, as well as a good friend of mine, Ladell Beamon of Healing the Hood Foundation. They're going to talk about an event they're having this weekend, man. It's going to be absolutely incredible. I'm sure Ladell Beamon's been doing a lot of things in the city of Memphis to combat violence and just give more opportunities to young people here in the city of Memphis.
Me and you have known Ladell. You have known
Ladell around for a long time.
He's been around forever.
Yeah, so we're going to talk to Ladell. We're going to talk to Coach Lionel Hollins. It's gonna be a great interview, man. But I can't wait to get to that for sure. Ain't that many people got Lionel Hollins around this joint, man.
Hey, listen, man.
That one for sure, man. So ain't many people had Ladell Beamon either. Just want to be real with you.
Right, that's right. We got both of them.
We got both of them here on the Anthony Sain Show. But Kenny, since the last time we talked, we are preparing for the NBA Finals. Kristaps Porzingis was in the press conference today. He'll be playing game one on Thursday. We won't have another show before those teams tip off. We'll record on Thursday for Friday, but we won't have another show where we don't know what's going on. You know what I mean? So by the time we do Friday's show, we would have not had a game. So I want to definitely talk about that. Yeah. Boston Celtics taking on Dallas Mavericks. A lot of subplots, to this whole thing.
Plots are galore in this series.
You got Kyrie coming back to Boston. You got Porzingis playing against the team that
Dallas.
Not just going back to Dallas, but that was supposed to be the super team. That was supposed to be, the great duo of Porzingis and Luka together. And of course that thing didn't work out, and Porzingis moves on to Boston. He's been injured. He comes back today. All those subplots: Jason Brown, Jalen Tatum, Jason Tatum,
Jalen
Brown, that whole dynamic, I've foolishly talked about how people have said it's time to break that team up, but this is, people feel like this is their opportunity. This is when they should really get that win. So we're going to talk, that's definitely going down. That whole dynamic is there to discuss and to view as fans. I think these are going to be simply incredible finals.
I do too, man. I think this is going to be really good.
Yeah, I think they're going to be really good finals. I cannot wait to watch these games. I think it's going to be absolutely great. I'm rooting for Boston, and I just think Boston is going to win. I think it's going to be a slugfest. Each one of these games is going to come down to the big moments, and I just think that Boston has more guys on the perimeter that are able to step up in big moments. If Tatum and Brown are down, both of them are down. You got two guys in Drew Holiday and Derek White who have been great for them throughout these playoffs.
And both of those guys pride themselves defensively as well. So you don't have to extend out Jalen and Jason to try to guard Kyrie.
You can put your two best defenders on their two best players, and Tatum and Brown don't have to guard those guys at all.
Don't guard those guys. That's a huge.
Or you can mix it up. You can throw a lot more at them with those type of lineups. And I think Porzingis is just going to be another X factor as well. People criticize Boston because they haven't just been dismantling teams, but at the same time, they've only lost 2 games in the entire playoffs. You know what I mean? And that matters for sure.
Does the Indiana Pacers series have any the closeness of the games? I know they won 4-0, but does the closeness of those games without Tyrese give you any pause for concern?
I think we'll see. I think I really can't say until I see this series. You know what I mean? I'm a little concerned about it for sure. But I just think Boston is a team that's been kind of sleepwalking throughout the whole season, really. And you remember when Xavier Tillman, he spoke, and he was like, man, I remember, we were in Memphis. Every win, we were, hyped. We were celebrating. Every loss, we were, upset about it. He said, but here, man, it's like, we know it's a long season. He explained what that culture, the difference in that culture was there. I think Boston is just a team who, you're talking about a team, man, who's been here a couple of years ago. They've been a conference finals team.
Right.
Forever, you know what I mean, over the last, 5, 6, 7 years. So I think that dynamic definitely does mean something for sure when it comes down to that. But like I said, man, this series is going to be absolutely incredible in my opinion. Like I said, these are two teams that have shown to be the best. You know what I mean? So You know,
You
we'll
surprised
definitely.
by Dallas? You surprised Dallas is
Yeah,
there?
yeah. I did not have Dallas being this level of team at all when it came down to the playoffs. But like I said, you're talking about two of the most talented players on the ball ever. You know what I mean? As far as individual scorers and playmakers, and Kyrie Irving and Luka Doncic. And it's going to be a hell of a series, man.
Yeah.
They're playing well. One thing about Dallas, Tim Hardaway Jr. has not been a factor too much in these playoffs at all. Not really sure what's going on with that. If he was cooking, you know, like we know he can cook, that you would probably talking about a totally different team. But like I said, man, this I would not be surprised if Dallas wins this thing. I'm pulling for Boston emotionally and logically. I think I'm pulling for Boston.
Right.
But we'll see, man. Like I said, I think it's going to be a great series. But in Memphis Grizzlies news, a couple things I want to talk about, just a couple notes, not really news, but the Grizz do look like they're about to be super active when it comes to the draft. You're hearing so many different reports, and I've heard people say things like, you typically don't hear the Grizzlies and these things seem made up. Things are different this year, man. The Grizzlies are a lot more intentional, and there's a lot more sense of urgency this particular offseason than what we've seen in the past. And when you're doing that, man, when you're talking to a lot of people, you're moving and shaking, there's no mutual agreement that the other team you're talking to is not going to talk. You know what I mean? That's something people have to keep in mind. The Grizzlies aren't talking to themselves. They're talking to other people. They're talking to a lot of people. And like I said, these talks are happening in these draft combine type situations. You know what I mean? So everybody's all in the same room. Media's there. Agents are there. People are talking, man. And people are trying to, are trying to move. And the Grizzlies are trying to move. So it's just interesting things we're seeing. We're hearing things about them trying to move up for Donovan McClingan. All these type of things, and possibly making a deal with Houston.
Yeah.
Those kind of reports are coming out, and you're talking about being number 3 in the draft at that point. And that Houston one is kind of interesting, man, because every other deal that we've talked about, I've said, well, that probably has to be Marcus Smart. You can say that, well, that has to be Luke Kennard, right? That Houston deal seems to be not to include players at all, like for something like some small level player, because Marcus Smart makes $20-something million a year. Only player close to his salary on that Houston roster, Dylan Brooks, and that ain't happening. You know what I mean?
That is not happening.
So that sounds like a number 9. It sounds like number 9 for 3 in future picks from the Grizzlies. And I can see something like that happen, and if it does, it probably does signal that a guy like Donovan McClingan is your guy. Because something I talked about when I was on Jason and John's show last week is that if the Grizzlies are trying to move up, Zach Kleiman moved up a few years ago, the year that we took Zaire Williams, but Zaire Williams was not the guy the Grizzlies were trying to get at that pick. Some people say it was Josh Giddey. Some of the intel I had leaned me more into the what's the kid's name? I keep forgetting this dude's name. Orlando Magic wing. He's got a brother that plays for him.
Wagner.
Yeah, Franz Wagner. I think Franz Wagner was the guy they were trying to get.
Yeah.
Either him or Giddey, I think, were the guys they were trying to get, but I think Wagner was priority number 1. And I think that they took Zaire as a consolation prize. But as a young GM, I think Zach Kleiman realized I didn't get up high enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think if Klingon is his guy, he realizes he needs to get it 3. Looks like the 2 French guys, they're going to go 1 and 2 in some order. And I think that Zach Kleiman believes he's got to get up if he wants a guy like Donovan McClingan. So like I said, this is a little not like the norm to see the Memphis Grizzlies and Zach Kleiman's name be in so many trade talks or so many discussions in offseason basketball, especially relatively early while the season's still going on. But like I said, it's different this year, man. So you will hear more and more conversation concerning the Grizzlies. And I love it because I think we've heard them connected to drafting Klingon. We've heard them connected to trying to get guys like a Jared Allen.
Right.
And I just think that the Grizzlies are busy. And this is what we are hearing. Imagine what we're not hearing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I think there's a lot of avenues they're trying to get. I'm not concerned about getting the center at all. Seems like the Grizzlies are frantically trying to get that done. So I feel good about those particular things.
What do you think? What do you think about the Donovan Klingon thing? If that's their guy, if they've chosen him, I know you kind of moved off him a little bit in favor of a potential Zach Edey situation, even moving back further.
Or Khalil
Ware,
who I'm looking at too. Yeah,
right. Sure. Do you think? What is it about Donovan Klingon's game that has made the Grizzlies front office say we got to leverage some of our future to get this guy at 3? Like,
I think the leverage in the future part doesn't mean anything to me because my thing is if you get him and he's a ready-made center by the time the playoffs, if he's ready to go, if he's your guy, right?
Yeah,
you're ready. You're ready for the next few years, and those future picks. None of those things really matter. And it's a controllable contract that you've got for what you'll have him on your roster for 6 years minimum. You know what I mean? Without having to worry about any real salary cap implications. Those type of things to me, I think are causing the or kind of would lean me towards that way if he's that guy. I would love to add another perimeter player to this team, over a center, because I feel like there's so many other ways you can get a center. But if they're able to get up in the draft and walk up to their podium and come away with Donovan Clingan, I'm not going to be upset at all.
Nah, me neither. Yeah. I think definitely you look at Donovan Clingan's game. We talked about Walker Kessler a lot and what the Grizzlies would look like if they had gotten him, right? And but Donovan Clingan comes in and he's a better player right now than Walker Kessler was when he was at Auburn, right? More skilled, just a better overall big man. And so I think definitely a Donovan Clingan comes in and is immediately ready to provide something for this Grizzlies program.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree, man. But I tell you what, Kimmy, about to take a break, man. Huge guest about to join us, man. Like I said, Ladell Beamon, the founder of Heal in the Hood Foundation, awesome organization doing great things in the city of Memphis, as well as legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollins is going to join us here for the Anthony Sain show when we come back. We'll take a break. Like I said, Lionel Hollins, Ladell Beamon will be here on the Anthony Sain show. We'll see you guys in a minute.
This has turned into unrealistic expectations for teams. Not every team is ready to win a championship. There are steps you got to take to put yourself in position to win it. And I thought that what they had done in Cleveland had become a team that was muddled in nothing. And JB, I thought they created a little bit of a culture. You were able to find a star player. I think it's tough. I go back to what happened with Adrian Griffin in Milwaukee. I mean, you got the second best record in the NBA, and they say, well, we don't know if you're the one to get us over the top. Yeah, but the guy you bring in is only 5-6 games over 500 from that point on. You would hope that realistic expectations start to come back into the fold, other than these unrealistic things that it's going to happen. Winning a championship happens just like that, because it doesn't happen in that way at all.
Tune in to the Night Court podcast with your hosts, Rob Fisher and Brevin Knight, on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
You saw the Trinity Carter cheap shot that Caitlin Clark took.
It happens 25 times a game in the NBA. What are we talking about?
That?
Not that.
That wasn't a basketball play at all. Flagrant.
She hip checked
and then also you have like Angel Reese after the game, she stood up off the bench when Trinity Carter did that and started clapping.
Whatever.
Then she didn't own it after the game. I'm not saying they have to kiss her ass.
What does that have to do with the play on the court?
What I am saying is there's a ridiculous amount of jealousy and hate from inside the WNBA aimed at Caitlin Clark, and it's obvious, and I'm tired of the sanctimony about it. I really am. Because I feel like there's a lot of media members that try to act like there's not, and it's so apparent. It's so apparent.
I agree. I agree. I agree with Gabe on it.
Crazy. Y'all are crazy. I could expect this from Christian Fowler, okay? The little bleeding heart liberal that he is. But you
I call it how it is, Kenny. I pride myself on it.
As a former D1 athlete, a pro football player, to sit here and pretend like physical play on the court is them hating on her is insanity.
But it's the words they use off the court too, Kenny.
Tune into On the Bluff with Christian Fowler and Gabe Kuhn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain show. As promised, I have two very special guests that I'm elated to have on the show today. One of these gentlemen I know personally. I've watched this man do his thing for a long time here in the city of Memphis. And the other gentleman, I watched him do his thing for a long time in the city of Memphis as well, but do not know him personally. My guests are Ladell Beamon, CEO and founder of Heal the Hood Foundation, and the legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollins is in the building for the Anthony Sain show. Gentlemen, how are you guys doing today?
Doing great.
Good. I'm gonna start things out with Ladell Beamon. You've been doing tremendous things here in the city of Memphis with Heal the Hood Foundation. I've been watching you up close and from afar. We've done some events together, all these type of things over the years, right? Tell us more about the event that you're having this weekend and what we can expect from it.
Well, one thing is the All-Star celebrity basketball game, and the thing that we do, we've been doing it probably for about 15 years now. Basically, and what it really about is about being able to set an opportunity for the city to come out and come together, because that's what it's really about unity and impacting our kids. Because a lot of times, in the city of Memphis, there are a lot of events that are going on, but the nucleus of what we're doing is to really be able to bring transformation to the lives of our kids, and to have parents and adults and everybody in a friendly atmosphere where you can feel that. And so it's real important for us to, having great people that are legendary, such as Coach Lionel Hollins, right, and both mayors. This year we have both mayors for the first time. So it's real historic, because you don't have, I've never known a mayor to be coached by a legendary NBA coach.
Right. We're playing a basketball game, so yeah.
So it's historic for something like this to happen. And I've gotten to know Coach Hollins really well, pretty good in the last couple of years. He hosted a camp for us, a kids camp, basketball camp, a couple of years ago, and then he was also one of our motivational speakers for our Taste Around the World benefit dinner. And just to know the man of God that he is, and just the person that he is, and to feel his presence and energy, I'm honored, to be able to be in his presence and to actually see all of this coming together. And people have been talking about it, and I've been hearing people say, Coach Hollins, you're ready to coach the mayor. It's been a big buzz, and to feel that excitement, I know something great is about to happen. So I'm excited about it.
Yeah, I'm excited as well. You guys are doing a tribute to Tony Allen, great Memphis Grizzlies player as well. Is going to be part of those festivities. Definitely looking forward to that. Coach Hollins, you're someone who we all know you as. A lot of people say you're their favorite all-time coach. And if you ask questions, who's the best Grizzlies coach ever, it's Lionel Hollins. And if ever there's a coaching problem, man, you just bring Lionel Hollins back. Or if we play a team that you're coaching with, we're like, oh, man, we need Hollins back with us, and all these type of things. And there's, news about assistant coaches with the Grizzlies. Oh, you go find Lionel Hollins. It's always University of Memphis, Penny need Lionel Hollins. Like, everything is, Coach Lionel Hollins, right? And with that being said, it wasn't just a job to you. You still call Memphis home. You're still here. You're still close. What makes Memphis home to you, and why are events such as this such a big deal for you?
Well, first of all, coming here, I don't even know why I did what I did, but I had a 1-year contract, and I moved my whole family here, and we bought a house.
Right.
Not knowing what the situation was going to be after that. In fact, Sidney Lowe was fired that first year. But
you were a friend when you were an assistant?
Yes.
Okay.
I've been here 21 years. And I've been with the organization, or had been with the organization, I think, total of 14 years, including in Vancouver. So,
right.
I've been blessed to be a part of a lot of the history of the Grizzlies. But more importantly, God has put it on my heart to get in the community. I was assistant coach when I started doing the Bowling for Backpack. And when I started the fine dining, where we got people to donate suits and tuxedos and gowns for kids. And we had a big dining event with a speaker, usually local, somebody that was in the community that they knew something about, to give them some advice. So that happened. And ever since I've been here, it's been home.
Yeah.
I mean, I never thought of it not at home. And I've lived a lot of different places, and some places never felt that way, and some places over time felt that way. But Memphis was the thing that set it off. That right when I got here, it was like, man, this feels natural. This feels like home. And so I never really. I think there was a couple of times I thought about leaving because I didn't have a job. But even when I've gone on and done other work, I've kept my home here.
Yeah.
And what I've seen is just to give a little bit a shout out to Ladell, is that what he's doing is going to be impactful for the whole city. It starts in one community and is going to mushroom to the whole city. And it's like he said, unity, getting back to people being people and caring about each other and caring about the children is more important than some of the things that we tend to value today. But I started in the community wanting to do something, and it became bigger than me when we started winning with the Grizzlies, when I became head coach. And you could see the unification of a city and the change in the attitudes, both from the Black community and the white community.
Right.
And it's like, you could go down on Bilge Street, you can go down to a restaurant after a game, and everybody's talking about the game and sitting there and having conversation. And that's the way a city's supposed to be.
Right.
And we're all supposed to support each other. We're all supposed to support every community, because you're only as good as your weakest community. Is almost like that chain link. You're only as strong as the weakest link. So that's why I'm a part of Heal the Hood. I went and spoke for them. And that was a fun night. And I did the basketball camp, which, dealing with a lot of kids, this could be, a lot of work.
Oh, yes, sir.
I only deal with grandkids now, I don't, but when you go out to these basketball camps, and when I go and speak at clinics and talk to coaches, it's a little bit different than before, because, most of these people have not been to a lot of camps, and especially coaches that have been in Memphis, and the young coaches that have been in Memphis, they want to hear something that, and really be directed so that they could have success. Right. But coming up with Heal the Hood's celebrity basketball game, I'm looking forward to it. I think this is huge, because you have the county mayor and you have the city mayor, and there's a lot of people that support both of them.
Right.
That means they're going to come out. And the more people you get to come out, the more people are going to be aware, and the Heal the Hood program is going to be exposed on a big level. And what this is not just a program to help a few kids. This is a legacy program.
Right.
Yeah.
This is something that all kids in all communities could enjoy and benefit from, especially, you have sports arenas and gyms everywhere, but to get into the arts and do what this is out of the box. And this is something that is very impactful, and is going to be a legacy that, I don't know whose name is going to go on the building when it's finally done, but I know Ladell Beamon's name is going to be mentioned in a highlight. Anytime anybody comes to that building, they're going to talk about the infancy of Heal the Hood and how it started in the grassroots and grew and became this big a project that turns into a legacy project.
Yeah, for sure. Coach, you talked about how you feel like, you made Memphis your home, right? And we all know your philanthropic efforts, things you've done for the community. I've worked for organizations that partner with you. I've seen you do great things in the community. Just sitting here thinking about it now, the Core 4 era, the man, you definitely were the architect behind that era. When you look at the guys with his Zebo and the things he did, because I know he did community service things for kids, and I can tell you timeless things that Zebo did. Mike Conley definitely is known for those type of things. Marcus All as well. Even Tony Allen, the guy that you guys are, awarding during the game. How much do you feel like your heart and your desires for people possibly rubbed off on those guys and affected their legacies as far as being people for the community?
I think that is something that did happen, but I think more importantly, I stressed that with them, that, they were blessed. They weren't in their mother's womb talking about how tall they were going to be, how fast and quick they were going to be, how high they jumped. That's all God. And we're, with the money that you have, they're supposed to leave a legacy as well. And that legacy is to give back and give, not to have 8 houses and, 2 private jets, and they all have the money to do that. And if they choose to do that, that's fine. But it's more importantly that you help those that need help. And, there's communities that are underserved. There's communities that just don't have the resources to do some of the things that can inspire and motivate. Because I think that's what it's about. The more exposure that we give kids to opportunities, the more they're going to break off and branch off from being just a basketball or football player or basketball player. It's going to be, I want to be, maybe they want to be like you, Anthony, be on the radio, right? Maybe they want to be in the movies. Maybe they want to, entertainment and sports are filled with our community, but have people that want to be doctors and lawyers and things that are out of the community box is where we want to be. We always say, well, you know, we want a foot in this door and a foot in that door, but you can't get a foot if you're not prepared, if you're not qualified. And I think when you expose the children to things that are outside the normal, you know, when I had my fine dining, we didn't have regular music. We had a harpist, we had a piano player, we had a flautist, whichever way you're supposed to pronounce it. But the thing is, giving them something that they hadn't experienced before. And I think the same way about Soulsville and what they do with music. And it's like playing instruments that anybody in the community could pick up a drum and start tapping a drum. And most people do. But there's very few people that go into the classic arts and do things that, you know, that we in our time never had opportunity to be exposed to. So it's like going to camps, not basketball camp, but a nature camp. Going to a ranch and seeing how ranchers were, going to a farm and see about, you know, milking a cow and picking up eggs and all the things that where food comes from. These types of exposures just enhance our kids to be a lot more, and they do have a lot more in them. It's just that it has to be exposed and it has to have opportunities so they can be motivated and inspired to go and do something. And also to allow the kids who aren't in that area or don't want to be in that area to accept people wanting to be outside the box. You know, I grew up in an environment, and if you weren't trying to be something, if you didn't support something, a certain something, then you were criticized. You know, even where you went to school later on, you got criticized. I mean, a lot of kids I know went to HBCUs. I didn't go to HBCU. I don't personally think I could have survived at an HBCU.
I don't think so either, guys.
I mean, to be truthful about it, I mean,
about me,
you
sure.
know, it's an environment that I may not have flourished. But when I went to the environment that I did, and I was alone, I was able to flourish, but not just flourish, but grow as an individual.
Right.
And that's what we need our kids to do, to grow. And whatever age they are now, 5 years from now, they should be somebody different. 4 years from now, they should be somebody different. They should be somebody that has grown and have people say, you know, that person has come a long ways. And now they're going to reach back and give a hand and support those types of individuals. And so when I coached, it was about cleaning the locker room. That's just a small thing, but it's something that I thought was important. It's about leaving tips for the maids in the hotel, because that's important. These people need money, and they don't make a lot of money, and they count on tips, and they count on you guys being generous. Be generous. Be generous with fans and giving autographs and talking to kids, because one kid with a single mom bringing them to the game, and you say a word to them, and that could turn their whole life around.
Wow.
You don't know what they're going to. You don't know the spot that they're in. So those are the types of things I try to stress to the players, and do the right thing. You know, anybody can go out there and be a fool, but it takes discipline to do the right thing. And it takes focus to do the right thing, because there's so much stuff coming at us, and there's so many people offering what's unnecessary, and sometimes, a lot of times, what's bad for us. And when you're young, you got to learn how to become a leader. You had to learn how to walk your path and force people to walk with you or get away from you. Because when you look back, you'll be like, those people aren't even in my life. I let them control some of the things that I was thinking. And this takes me to my grandmother. She said, God gave everybody a brain. Learn to use your own brain for you. I had trouble one time for being late coming home, and I told her what the story was, and I said, my friend said we could make it, stay for the extra innings in the baseball game. And she said, just that, didn't God give you a brain? She says, you're going to let somebody else use their brain to get you in trouble when you got a brain on your head and you're just sitting there not using it. So it's a valuable lesson that I learned, and it's the lesson that I've coached AAU, I've coached youth basketball, and all the time it's always about accountability, responsibility, looking in the mirror when you want to blame somebody. And those are the things that I try to impart to the Grizzlies when I had them. And so I'm proud of all of them, because the majority of them have gone on, become family men, and have done stuff in the community and are stalwarts in the community wherever they are. And that's what it's all about, because, you know, somebody was there for you when you were at that age. You may not even have known who they were, but somebody was grabbing your hand and saying, hey, don't walk over in that crowd. Walk over here in this crowd. and had their eye on you. So it's important.
Coach, do you think that that's a lost element of today's NBA? Like for the particular group of guys we had, we got, married with kid Zebo when he came to Memphis, and Tony was older, and Mark he was a little older, and Mike was young, but we didn't really have a lot of young players on your teams you had. When you look at today's NBA, when you don't see guys who really have that same, because we've had the discussion about, certain things and even situations here, do you think that that's lost because of age, or just these guys are just different? Or do you think what do you think that leads to, maturity or what?
Well, I could go the stayed and true route of money.
Mm-hmm.
But the reality is, you said those kids were older, but Mark wasn't married, Mike wasn't married, Rudy wasn't married, OJ wasn't married. None of the guys. And I used to tell them, life is moving. It doesn't stop because you're in the NBA. And what you're going to look around, you're going to turn around and you're going to have 10 or 12 years in the NBA. You're going to be 32 to 34, 35 years old. Where are you going to be? What are you going to be doing? It's time to start thinking and planning. And that's why I think you need some older players to mentor. You need coaches to mentor, because I think, on every level, coaching is about, how can I get my kids to win enough games so I get a contract? Right. I get a better job.
Mm-hmm.
And you see coaches run all the time. And now the players are doing it as well, especially in college, but they're doing it on all levels. And it's not all kids, it's not all coaches, but I just think that it's important, because as a college coach, I believe that you are to be the bridge from adolescence to adulthood.
Mm-hmm.
Kids come with you that have a mother and father and had a great upbringing. You're supposed to affirm what they got at home. To take them on, because once you go to college and you get loose, whatever you got when you were in college, you can lose it all. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So you're to help them, and then the kids that don't have that, you're supposed to help them gain it. It's so easy to let a person slide because of their talent.
Right.
And I just think about Denzel Washington and Remember the Titans, when he told the coach, why do you go and one of my players get in trouble and I yell at them, you go put your arm around him?
Mm-hmm.
He says, you're not helping them, you're hampering them, because you're going to make them believe that no matter what mistake they make, somebody's going to get them and get them out of it. And that's not how real life is not like that. And that's why you see a lot of players that have gotten out of basketball, out of football, have had a lot of trouble. And it's unfortunate, because they've never grown up. They're the same person at 33 that they were when they came in.
Right. For sure.
So those are the things that hurt. And money is great. It's great to have money. It gives you opportunity to do a lot, both in the community, with your family, because I have family that I support.
Right.
And I think it shouldn't be valued above all things. A pastor said this. He said, the only thing that should go on the top shelf of your life is Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Everything else has to be down here, right? And what we do is we put money and we put fame all on the top, and it's all subjective. The Minnesota Timberwolves were on top of the world a couple of weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as they lost that series, everybody's talking about what they didn't do and what they should have done, and Cat didn't do this, and that's the world. And so it's not solid, it's fluid, and it causes you to fall off the boat, because they'll rock it for you when you don't do right. You strike out in a big game, you miss a bucket, miss a free throw. Fans are fickle and they don't care about you. And this is not a knock on media, but media does not care either.
No.
They're looking for a story.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are supposed to play well, they're going to write a lot of good stuff about you. If you don't play well, they're going to write a lot of bad stuff. But it's not even personal.
Mm-hmm.
It's just because they're just looking for a story, and they're trying to be the first one to put it out there. So those are the things that are important to me. And even when I talk to young people, I've raised some kids with my own kids, and they've gone on to do well. And I'm proud of that. I thank God that my own kids are doing well, and just not successful in a job, but successful in doing the right thing and being a good human being. That's more important than anything.
Right, for sure. We're here again with legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach Lionel Hollins, Ladell Beamon, also the founder of Heal the Hood Foundation. Coach Hollins, we're having great basketball talk. I got more for you, but I got a quick question I want to ask Ladell. I can't have you on when I talk basketball, but I got a question related to the event for Ladell. Ladell, Friday, you guys are having a basketball camp with
Coach Kevin Whitted.
Kevin Whitted. I'm sorry, my brain just went away. Kevin Whitted's been a guest on this show as well. My son was part of that camp. He's another basketball genius as far as just knowing the game. Great conversation with him as well. But what can we expect from that camp on Friday? And also, are you able to share any of your other, celebrities that will be in the game on Saturday?
Well, what I will say is that I don't have the full roster because it's a lot of people. I know Will Coleman is going to be there, Adrian Hennon, a whole lot of these the pro ball players. But most definitely there's some surprises that's going to be. I can't say it just yet because there's a concert that's happening the next day, and so we can't announce it just yet about a couple of
Glorilla. That's all. Okay, there we go.
No Glorilla. It's a very, very positive. People that are coming in from all over. As a matter of fact, I'm in a business room in Atlanta right now because Drama Boy he's coming in to play too. But I was just up here with Terrence Howard and Kevin Hart, and just having the opportunity to be on the set with a lot of those guys. And I was joking with Terrence Howard. I said, "How is it that I'm on the set with two war machines, Don Childay and Terrence Howard?" And so it's just been funny, because these are people that really want to give back to Memphis, and Terrence wants to move to Memphis. And so it's just kind of he popped up at our last celebrity basketball game that was in November, our Hoops for the Holidays. And so it's going to be a lot of surprises. And I know with camp, we're just expecting Coach Whitted the same way, with Coach Hollins, to be able to impact these young people. To me, when I see, I can't do anything with a basketball but laugh at it. But the thing about it is that when I see these gentlemen bring these kids together and they're bouncing basketballs and they're doing all these different things, and the coaches are sitting down having these conversations with them, I'm looking at the game of life happening on this huge rectangle, and it's just amazing to me to actually see it happen. So I know that's what's going to be happening. Our theme is "Don't Kill My Future," and so it's really about the coaches impacting these kids right now, because whatever we do to these kids right now is going to affect their future. And so I just listening to Coach Hollins and just thinking about what's going to happen to these kids. What's going to happen? What's going to happen to these kids, in the next 4 or 5 years? What's going to happen? What's going to be the impact that changes their trajectory? And that's what we're looking for, to make an impact so huge that these kids think about if they're going towards gang activity, or if they're going towards drugs, if they're going towards all these ailments that are out there, what decisions are they going to make? And so that's going to be the impact that I know that camp is going to make for the kids on Friday. So it's going to be very, very impactful.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be great for sure. Coach Hollins, we all know you as being a legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach. You talked about, just your times with guys like Mark, Mike, OJ, Rudy Gay, all these guys in the past. What are your thoughts on the current team and just the future of that team going forward here? Because I'm sure you have some type of eyes on the team now.
Well, I have opinions from what I see when I see games, but I don't like to talk about the Grizzlies because I don't want people to think that I'm trying to put down the players or put down Coach Jenkins. I'm not a media guy, so it's not my responsibility to speak in that regard. But I like what they were doing. They stumbled and stubbed their toe on a few occasions when people thought that they should go further. I think the biggest stumble was losing to the Lakers by 40. And I think to win is not just talent. It's not just defense. It's not just offense. It's not just rebounding, shooting. I mean, all those things are inclusive, but character, focus and commitment and perseverance, and then making sacrifices. I think too often you see on the pro level, the star players aren't asked to make sacrifices. And they're up here and the rest of the team is below them. Right. And a lot of that has to do with money as well. When you're paying one guy 50, 60 million and another guy's making 14 million. Not that 14 million is nothing to sniff at, but
Mm-hmm.
you know what I'm saying.
Right.
It's difficult to think that you don't have privileges.
Mm-hmm.
And when I look at the Grizzlies, I just think hopefully everybody involved in what's gone on in the last couple of years will have matured, will have made a move to pivot from the way they were to a different way, a new way. And then everybody just draw together and start saying, well, it has to be all summer and winter. We had to come together.
Right.
We have to be more than ourselves. We're trying to achieve something bigger than ourselves. No one player can do it by himself. And it takes everybody, takes coaching staff, all be unified.
Mm-hmm.
And it's got to be a lot of allowance. See, people don't understand. Players have to allow coaches to coach.
Mm-hmm.
And coaches have to earn respect through communication and building relationships that allow them to go out and speak to all the players on the same level and have them respect that and accept that. Because if you don't, there's always going to be somebody on the sideline that's not playing or not playing as much that's going to be complaining, and he's going to have 2 or 3 people that want to join the bandwagon because they're not playing,
Yeah,
or
right.
things aren't going right for them. So it's a big thing, and people think, oh, we go get Kevin Durant, we get Bradley Beal, and we put them with Booker, and we'll win a championship.
Yeah.
Not happening, and
Yeah.
no team that has done that has won yet.
Yeah.
The Lakers had Karl Malone, Gary Payton.
Gary Payton, yeah.
They had a whole slew of people. They didn't win. They got close, but they didn't win because
Mm-hmm.
unity of a team and a bond. I say this, that I'm glad this is kind of a segue. My friend
Yeah.
Bill Walton passed away.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
And it was a sad moment. But then I remember all the memories. And I remember the bond that we've carried since I was 21 when I met him.
Mm-hmm.
He was 22. And he died
Young.
at 71, right? So there's a lot of life that has gone on that we've been connected. And all those players that were on that championship team, we were connected. We don't see each other often. We don't talk often, but when we do, it's like talking to a relative. You know them. They know you. And we just pick up where we left off, and we're always supportive of each other. And I think that that's what's missing. It's the journey to that championship. And everybody, well, can we win? Well, we want to win. No, the thing is to go and do whatever it takes to give yourself an opportunity to win.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's all you can ask for, because one of the teams is going to win and one of them is going to lose
Mm-hmm.
in the end. And there's going to be a whole lot of teams that are lost before you get to that end. You go through the playoffs and you see all the teams that are lost, and coaches that have lost their jobs because the expectation is so unreal. I said we should not have expectations, but set standards. If you
Right.
set standards of how you do things and your team is growing within those standards, then you're being successful. Because how good is your team? I always tell players, nobody can evaluate you like yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your agent is going to tell you that you're better because he's trying to get you to hold out for more money. Your family is going to tell you that you're better because they want more money.
Right.
Your friends are going to tell you that you're great because they just been those types of people all in your life.
Mm-hmm.
They've always been boosters. But you got to evaluate who you are, where you are, and what is important to you.
Yeah.
And when you find teams that win, that's what you see. When you see Kyrie Irving diving on the floor when everybody criticized Kyrie Irving the last 3 years.
Right. Right.
This Kyrie Irving is the same Kyrie Irving. But they didn't take time to get to know him then because they were not winning. He wasn't getting to play. There was injury, so they didn't show up in the playoffs.
Same guy though.
Same guy.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think that's important to know. And I just think that, winning is hard.
Yeah.
When I was growing up, people used to criticize me because I always rooted for the winners. I said, winning is hard. It's easy to lose. Just show up and you can lose, right? But winning takes a lot more, and sometimes more than you think you have to give. But when the coach pushes you through that bubble, and you get to the other side, and you see that when you look back, you go, wow, I didn't think I could do that, but I did. And that's important because that takes you through life.
Right.
But sports is temporary.
For sure. Well, Coach Hollins, I have one final question for you. I know you got plenty of things to do today. Like I said, you are one of the coaches for the Hill the Hood celebrity basketball game going on this Saturday. Super excited to see you be a part of that. Got mayor versus mayor going on in that joint, man. Plus a salute to Tony Allen as well in that game. Something and someone that's definitely connected to your legacy here in the city of Memphis is Mike Conley Jr. Someone that came in as a very young player in the league, someone that you saw things in that we as fans may not have seen at the same time. We would hear you say praises about Mike and what he could be, and you stood with Mike, and Mike has went on to be an all-star, great player in the league, longevity in the league, well-respected player in the league, and all those type of things. Just looking at Mike as someone that you took and you developed, and you mentored, all those type of things. What is your level of pride when you see what Mike has turned into now, being one of the older players in the league?
Well, the first thing is that Mike kept improving as a player.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're drafted the 4th pick in the draft, you should be given an opportunity to show what you can do.
Right.
Not be buried on the bench 1 year because of injury, 1 year because there was another player in front of him.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not a winning team, you should be developing players.
Mm-hmm.
But you do that. But my biggest pride, my most prideful thing about Mike is his leadership.
Mm-hmm.
See, Mike was always a leader. He just didn't know it.
Mm-hmm.
It goes back to what I said about coaches have to take you to places that you didn't know you could go.
Right.
And it's tough. It's hard for them and for you. And it's very confrontational. And Mike and I used to get into it. He didn't come back at me. I got into it with him all the time. And eventually, Mike grew and he started seeing himself as what I told him he could be.
Mm-hmm.
And he's a great leader. Minnesota is not where they are without Mike Conley on that team.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They had some other guys that are more talented than Mike, but Mike is cerebral. Mike's playing to win. He's not playing to score. He's not playing to be known. He's just playing to win. Mm-hmm. And if you saw some of those audio clips of him talking to the team, it's leadership. I could see Mike going into coaching. I don't know if he would, but I could see him being a coach because for me, a coach's responsibility is to take these kids and help them be what they're supposed to be, not just on the court, but in life. And most of them have the ability to be leaders. They just don't want to go that way because it's difficult and there's a lot of obligation and there's a lot of responsibility and people, you're exposed to people, you get criticized for how you do things. And Mike stood up and he's done that, and he's a good kid, he's a good family man, and I love him, and I love all those guys because they all allowed me to coach them and take them. I wish that, obviously that we had another year or two, added another player or two. Who knows where we would have gone? Who knows if we would have not been able to bring home a championship or at least go to the finals. But that's all behind us, and we go forward trying to just continue to get better and continue to be helpful and mentoring and exposing the young people to things. And I've coached even kids that are in the NBA that I coached in AAU, and I see their growth. So that makes me prideful. That makes me very humble to know that, God has given me the abilities to go and take some kids and raise them to a level so that when you're not around them, they're still the same people, just like your parents.
Yeah, for sure. But Coach Hollins, I definitely appreciate you coming on, man. Awesome interview, just intersection of just life and sports that we're having. Just a great conversation. I really appreciate you coming on. Appreciate you being a part of what you're doing with Hill the Hood. This Saturday, 3 p.m. at Ridgeway High School, the Hill the Hood celebrity basketball game. You can get your tickets on the website. We're about to bring it up on the screen as well for you guys to check that out. Make sure you get those tickets. Always down there. HTHMemphis.org. Get your tickets there. Coach Lionel Hollins is going to be one of the coaches in the game. It's going to be a phenomenal, entertaining game, I'm sure. You're going to see the two mayors, the city mayor and the county mayor at the same time. Go ahead, Coach.
I'm going to go outside my standards. Whatever Mayor Young wants to do, Mayor Young gets to do. He's my star. and if he brings in 100, 200, 300 people here and people want to donate money, you all right with me.
You're going to give me that star treatment. I get you. I got you.
That's
You're going to tell me, hey, sit down. The mayor want to play. Sit down.
Exactly.
For sure. But Coach Hollins, we definitely appreciate you coming on, man. One of the great legends, heroes, really, in the city of Memphis, man. Legendary Memphis Grizzlies coach, Lionel Hollins, the city's coach in the building, man. Y'all stop playing. We're about to take a break.
I appreciate you having me.
Oh, for sure, man. For sure. Anytime you want to come back, Coach Hollins, we can do this. Definitely. Because we can talk. You know, you got Gigi Jackson out there, and I want to hear what you had to say about him, but I didn't want to press you for time.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of opinions about a lot of their players.
We got to bring you back. We got to bring you back for sure. Well, like I said, we're about to take a break. When we come back, we're going to do the three-pointer here on the Anthony Sain Show. We'll see you guys in a minute.
When we think about Jaren playing center, we automatically, in Grizzlies land, we think of, the Marc Gasol and Zebo days. We think of Jonas Valanciunas. We think of, Steven Adams. And the truth is, Jaren at center wouldn't look like any of those guys. Once you accept that point, you realize how realistic it is. It'll look different. It would look different. But there are other ways where, not just the negative side of it looking different. It'll look different in a positive way, too. Having a true stretch five who can put the ball on the floor.
What do you think the reason why Jaren has issues with his rebounding?
The scheme thing is, to me, it's a cover-up. And that's just being real. We on a no bluffing podcast right now, so we gotta keep it real.
Capping. We ain't capping.
Yeah, we gotta keep it real, man. So it's want to, it's will.
Tune into the No Bluffing Podcast with your hosts, Christian Ingram and Evan Hayes, every Monday at 12 p.m. only on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
We're looking at making sure that the Grizzlies are top 5 in either offense or defense. So how do you get a team like that there? What are your must-haves to be a real title contender? So give me one.
Health.
Okay.
I think it's it goes a little bit sort of in the cliche obvious department. You got to be healthy, which we saw the direct results of what happens when you're not this year, right? It was a mess in 100 different ways. So there you go. Number one. I've got plenty more loaded for you.
All right. Mine is going to be good kitty. No, I'm kidding.
First off,
bad kitty.
Pause. Pause.
Come hang out with Daniel Greer and Nathan Qualls on Grizz 901 Live. Every Tuesday night at 9:01 live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Great segment. Great segment just then with Coach Lionel Hollins. Just wisdom, man. Just oozing off of that man. Basketball wisdom, oozing off of him. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, bro. Coach Hollins. Hey, if it's a spot on the bench for you, man, go and grab that joint for sure. Hey, just get Taylor Jenkins the hell about it.
Get out of here. Yeah. Hey, what did he say? What did he say in the interview? He said the players got to let you coach him, man.
Hey, for real.
I wonder if they'd let Lionel coach him, man.
Hey, he's one of those dudes who I think where those guys are now, his style, I don't know. But I think if he got some dudes at the beginning, they might have been just what they needed.
100%.
Yeah, for sure, man. But yeah, great, legendary Lionel Hollins came in and joined us today, as well as my guy Ladell Beamon. He had to step off. Get ready to get on a flight real quick, man. You know what I'm saying? Just getting
man was dropping some names in that interview, wasn't he?
Hey, wasn't it though, man? Terrence Howard, you know.
Howard, I was like, okay. We're about to get for real in this place.
Yeah, it's good dead serious for sure. Let's go ahead and jump into it. The three-pointer, man, where we talk about 3 things that are going on in the world of sports. Number 1, let's go ahead and talk about what everybody else in the damn world is talking about. Caitlin Clark and NBA, WNBA. I mean, I'm so tired of this, man. There's so much stuff going on, and every reaction is being overblown. Stephen A. Smith and them were talking about this for about 40 minutes yesterday. I'm not talking about this that long. I think that Caitlin Clark is a phenomenal player, Kenneth Stubblefield. And do I think that there are players in the league that feel a way about her? It's just like asking me, are there players in the league that feel a way about Anthony Edwards? Are there players in the league that feel a way about John Morant? Are there players in the league that feel a way about LeBron James? Yes, there are people who feel a way about these people that may be jealous of them, all these type of things. But it is not as widespread of a problem as they're trying to paint it to be in the WNBA. And there's so many things going on. And one other thing that's going on is that you've got people who are WNBA loyalists who are saying, we things were better before you guys got here. I think y'all sound crazy. And there are people who are new to the biz that are casuals that are making strong comments as well. And I think you guys sound crazy as well. This just has to balance out. Everybody just has to be quiet and go watch basketball. It was a horrible play the other night. It was not a basketball play. Cool. But something about Caitlin Clark, people have to admit, Caitlin Clark keeps up a lot of shit, bro. She does a lot of talking. She does some dirty things herself. You go back and look at the clip. She got her shit off too.
Yeah.
And then she playing with people that ain't playing that shit. They're the pros. They'll get on your ass. They're the grown-ass women. These aren't girls in the Big Ten that idolize you. These are girls that couldn't care less about none of that. There's nothing the WNBA needs to step in and do. There's nothing the officials need to step in and do. They're going to handle it
on the court.
Yeah. And we're talking about we talked about her in this flagrant foul or whatever and all these type of things. But talk about that 3-point game she had the next game. Why were you talking about that game? Maybe she still was traumatized by the hard foul or whatever. But yeah, man, I've had my fill of that stuff. I think Caitlin Clark is too good of a basketball player for us to waste our time with the things that we are talking about.
I got one last thing to say about it, and I'll be done. I'm done forever talking about this. It's this idea, it's the media creating this rhetoric that she is some like dainty, like mistreated person who just needs to be coddled and taken care of. Like, dude, she's a hooper. You think she cares about any of that stuff? Like, no. She gives it as much as she gets it. Like, she's not some damsel in distress that's getting bullied around by these girls. Like, she is a basketball player playing basketball with other hoopers, and it's physical. Mm-hmm. It's a tough thing. Things like that happen. I said it in another show last night. That kind of hit happens 25 times in a game in the NBA, and nobody talks about it. But for some reason, because it's Caitlin Clark, it's now this damsel in distress type of thing, and that part of it is not only offensive to the other players. I think it's offensive to Caitlin Clark because you're making her out to be some
like she's just some damsel in distress.
Yeah. It's not that. She's a hooper. She's a hooper, just like Angel Reese is a hooper. They all hoop, and this is what they're doing. And it just is a wild. The rhetoric around it is pretty crazy to me. So
yeah, that's I totally agree with you on all that. For sure. Like it's just crazy, bro. And we're spending ridiculous amounts of time talking about something that really shouldn't get this much time.
Well, let's stop talking about it.
Number 2, Ken, I think we'll talk about, speaking of something that I'm kind of tired of talking about because it just keeps, turning into something else. We heard stories today that JJ Redick is the favorite for the Lakers job. We heard that kind of boiling coming up. They were on their podcast together, JJ and LeBron.
Right.
And LeBron just
the world's most. We got to see the inside look of a job interview on that podcast, apparently.
And so I'm so sick of it, bro, because it's like now it's like, oh, is LeBron about to go to Dallas and all this type of stuff? Like, in the NBA playoffs are about to start, and we're worrying about what LeBron's gonna do, right?
Come on, man.
And LeBron's out here saying that Kyrie Irving, he really feels a way that Kyrie went on and did his thing, became the player he's become, and that he's never that he didn't get to play with him. And LeBron called him the most skilled player he's ever seen. I'm like, LeBron, you've never said any of these things about Kyrie ever.
I disagree with you on this because it always felt like to me when LeBron and Kyrie were in Cleveland together that LeBron enjoyed playing with Kyrie more than Kyrie.
We've never seen him give that level of praise, saying he's the most skilled player he's ever seen. LeBron's never said it.
No, I don't think he's ever said that specifically. But in terms of, it always felt like to me that LeBron was almost in awe of Kyrie's abilities, right? And what really ruined it, I think, for Kyrie was that damn reporter asking the question about the father thing.
Father figure
shit, the father figure stuff. Like, that to me is what like ended that whole situation was this narrative about LeBron's relationship with Kyrie, and LeBron's over there going, man, he's a hooper the dude is one of the most skilled players, and I love playing with him. And I think you heard that today in that interview that he did.
So do you think it was just genuine adoration, criticism? I mean, not criticism, like adoration of Kyrie, and we move on? Or is there something cryptic LeBron's putting in there, like as a possible, because LeBron's going to go where the iron is hot,
No, yeah.
So do you think that it's possible a Dallas thing or what?
I don't think so. I think that's more of a shot at the players that he's played with, like other than Kyrie. I think he's cryptic with that stuff. I did wonder, because I know a lot of everybody looks at what LeBron's moves in the offseason and goes, what's he doing? Like what is this?
Yeah.
The fact that he was at the Cleveland game, I was like, something's up with that. Like that's weird that he did that. Yeah. But he also still probably has a house in Cleveland. He probably has a house,
sure.
I'm
sure he's a fan of them outside of when he's playing against the Lakers.
It's hometown, but I don't think that has anything to do with. It may, I don't know, but I'd be stunned if there's no way LeBron's going to Dallas. Like he just got JJ a job, man. What are we talking about?
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Number 3, Kenny, I got a question for y'all. Why y'all just can't let Penny go play golf, man? Why y'all media guys? Why you media lames just can't let this man play golf, man?
Can I tell you there have been plenty of times that I have not been able to go to an availability.
And you're glad that you weren't able to go to it.
and I was like upset that I wasn't able to go. Yesterday was the day that I was like, man, I'm so glad I wasn't there.
Yeah. Just a lot of weird exchanges, weird questions, weird responses by Penny Hardaway, and it led into a think piece today on Jeff Calkins' show where the question was, does Penny still enjoy being the coach? Okay, how did you gather that from this? You know what I mean? And here's the thing. You tell me, Kenny, because I asked this question in the Bluff City Media Discord that you too could be a member of for $4.99 a month. But I kind of put this out here. Like, that event was, what was the golf tournament? What was that he was in?
It was the AutoZone Liberty Bowl golf, like Pro-Am, I think is what it was.
Okay, so that's not a University of Memphis event, right?
No, it's a AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Exactly.
So that the whole it's not a University of Memphis event.
Right. So with that being said, any media availability is granted through whoever put that
through Harold. So they talked about Parth talked about it in his tweet. He said a media liaison. That's Harold Grader. Harold Grader is in charge of the AutoZone Liberty Bowl. He was the media liaison. He set that up.
Right. So why are people? Because there was also a report that came out that Penny was told there would be no coaches, no questions about him as coach of the Tigers, and then those questions came out, and people were like, well, what would you expect? Okay, but this isn't a basketball, isn't anything University of Memphis or Tiger basketball related, and it's not even the same PR people. So why would people expect Penny to not expect what he signed up for? You know what I mean? So
yeah.
You know what I mean? So where are you at on that? And what do you just think about some of the things Penny said altogether?
Yeah, that's tough because it's tough for me to think about what questions would I have for Penny outside of anything related to Memphis Tiger basketball. Right. Like, I'm not really that necessarily concerned with, his golf game. Like, hey,
just
man,
leave the man alone then. Like, why we got
but that's what I'm saying.
Go play golf.
That was my whole response is, if you don't want him, because it's not that, I don't think it, based on my interactions prior, like in previous times with media liaisons or SIDs at Memphis.
Right.
It's never the SID tells Penny what's going to be asked. It's Penny asked the SID or the media liaison, I don't want to talk, let them know I don't want to talk basketball. Cool. Then the media liaison becomes the bad guy and comes over and tells all the basketball beat writers that, hey, we don't want to talk basketball. That my response to it is, well, then just don't make yourself available.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's no harm, no foul, right? Yeah. Like he doesn't have a contractual obligation to do stand up scrums like that at a golf tournament. That was his decision to do that. Yeah. So then to turn around and say, I don't want to talk basketball, then my response, if I'm Harold Grader, who has enough cachet to be able to say this, well, then let's just go to the first green and let's play. Go to the first hole and let's play. Like, don't even worry about it.
Yeah, for sure.
But That's my thought
I
process.
just thought the whole thing was funny. Like Penny was looking like, man, I don't want to talk about this shit.
You can't ask basketball beat writers when they're talking to the basketball head coach for the first time in months to not ask basketball questions. Like I'm sorry, that's just
not made
realistic.
Yeah, because it was an awkward looking interview. They should not let him speak. Yeah,
100%.
I don't want to speak. Yeah,
I don't have. Listen, man, we can sit here and we can critique what Penny said and have our thought process, that kind of stuff about it. I do think some of the things that some of the things that he said were like, you probably could have maybe been a little bit more political in that regard, like especially with the David Jones stuff. But honestly, it's clear he didn't want to talk, and so I'm just glad. I'll reiterate, I'm just glad I wasn't there with my camera in his face. I'll say that.
Yeah, for sure.
I was at home going, dang.
y'all let Penny live out here, man.
Let Penny live. Let Penny go golf, man.
The man go golf, man.
The man's been taking lessons. The man's been taking lessons, man. He's trying to go test out his new.
Man, he's gonna play with y'all, bro. Man, not gonna play with y'all. But yeah, man, we about to take a break, man. When we come back, I got an interesting topic, man. I got people mad at me on Facebook for this discussion. We'll talk about this. Oh yeah, exactly. We'll talk about this and more here when we come back for Inside the Same Brain, sponsored by our good friends at Create A Cig.
Big Ten is already in 4 time zones. The ACC's, kind of on the brink of, some people would say, self-destructing. Florida State, perhaps Clemson are going to leave. How can they fix that? How can they save themselves? They got weird and went out and added Cal and Stanford. One team that benefits from all of this, and that's the Memphis Tigers. Because if Utah leads the Big 12, they're going to have an open spot.
Spots are open. And Timothy, that's what I was going to ask you. When NCAA Football 25 comes out and they have conference realignment as an option in gameplay, what conference are you immediately putting Memphis in?
No, I'm tired of being the Big 12's booty call. They always like to just dangle the carrot in front of us and we come out crawling after it. And then they're like, they just pull back every time. I'm tired of it, dude. I'm tired of it.
Tune in to Tigers Untapped with TJ Willis and Trey Lasley every Wednesday at 3 p.m. on the Bluff City. At Create A Cig, our top priority is to provide the best customer service experiences possible while offering the largest variety of vape supplies, legal THC products, and smoking accessories. Our trained sales associates are here to assist any and all customers to help them find the best products available. With our daily deals, weekend deals, loyalty rewards program, and our punch card program, there are tons of rewards to earn to help our customers save plenty of money along the way. This area and come visit us.
All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Anthony Sain Show. Final segment of the show. Once again, shout out to Coach Lionel Hollins, Ladell Beamon, the brainchild of Heal the Hood Foundation, having this great situation they've got going on. 2 events this weekend. The basketball camp is Friday and Saturday. The Celebrity All-Star Game at 3 o'clock at Ridgeway High School. Go to the website, hthmemphis.org, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right.
To check that out. The Heal the Hood Foundation doing a lot of things great in the city of Memphis, connecting with legendary Grizz coach Lionel Hollins. Make sure you guys check that out. But Inside the Same Brain, where we talk about something that's on my mind, Kenny Stubblefield, typically it's about, something that comes into my mind when I'm under the influence of something. But under the influence of something that came from Create A Cig 9 times out of 10. 4 area locations, man. You can check out the one on 10 North McLean. That's the one you'll see me at all the time. I was in there the other day, man, picking up some billionaire raps, man, for real. I picked up this cool little. Hold on, let me show you what all I got, man. Give me a second.
Get it. Let me see what you got, man.
Give me a second, God damn it, hold on.
Some good podcasting stuff right here, man.
Yeah.
Let Anthony
Nothing
Let
beats
Anthony-
dead air, man. You know.
Let Anthony bring his stuff over, man. This is some good stuff. I'm bringing you back up to the top. There you go. Let me see it,
y'all, man. I can't show
Yeah.
y'all what's in this, man. This is a vacuum sealed container, Kenny Stubblefield.
Woo-hoo.
You put your products in here,
Uh-huh.
and then it's just an aroma of something. I ain't gonna tell you what's in here, man. Cookies, sugar cookies,
Sugar cookies. Yeah,
brown
sugar
sugar.
cookies.
Anyway, you put the little thing on it, and it vacuum seals it. You push the button to open it. You close it down, and it's vacuum sealed in. Keeps everything fresh, man.
Hey.
Get that at Create A Cig. Nice little thing there. And then, man, sometimes with my lighter, man, I be playing around too much with the lighter, man. I ain't screwing around no more, Ken.
Oh, you got one of them torches, baby.
Light your ass up in this thing, bro.
Let's go, man.
Light you up real quick, man. Instantly. You know what I'm talking about? We ain't playing no games.
Like anything you need, you can get there, man.
Oh, yeah, light your ass up. God damn it. But yeah, man, check that out at Create A Cig, as well as the Sain Asylum pack, which you can get anytime you come in there, ask for it by name. Got the nicotine pack and the Delta 8 pack. The nicotine pack contains any Wave Bar 10K, any Ursa hand kit, any 60 milliliter Theory or 30 milliliter Salt Nick juice. The Delta 8 pack comes with a pre-roll, a torch pre-roll, a disposable vape cartridge, as well as a bag of edibles. Go grab that, ask for it by name at any Create A Cig location. But Kenny, what I want to talk about today,
you want something today, man. You want something today, bro.
Hey, they mad at me, man, but I don't understand. It's women, and you're implying that you're telling the woman what to do with her body, and you see an image of a woman, even though you're talking about the man and the woman who made this decision. Trina Mcgee, Kenny Stubblefield, a beautiful woman. She was one of my odd crushes that people.
Oh man,
I couldn't really tell people. People didn't really know what I was talking about, right? She was the only black character on Boy Meets World. Yeah. She was gorgeous. And I came to find out that she was a lot older than the rest of the cast when she was doing this show. Gorgeous, beautiful woman.
Yeah, because she was supposed to be like a little kid almost, but she was like 22, 23 years old, right?
No, I want to say she was playing a college-age child, but she was 30. She was pretty old. She was a little older than the rest of the cast for sure. But
man, real quick, Boy Meets World back in the day.
Topanga, fine as shit.
Oh God.
Topanga, fine as shit. Still fine right now.
Still fine. Looks exactly.
Hey, shout out to Will Coleman. Hey, people say prime milk. Hey, that's it.
That's it.
Hey, but anyway, Trina Mcgee announces that she's pregnant at 54. Kenny Stubblefield, and I put out a post on Facebook saying that, in my opinion, having a child at that age is selfish. And of course, people got upset. People don't really look for context, which is cool. I made a pretty vague, wild-sounding statement. Right. And I'll explain my logic in this, Kenny Stubblefield. As a parent, as a father, one of my biggest fears is not being around when Gabe gets older. Like when he's becoming a man. I don't want to be him being. My parents both passed away. I was good and grown father, married, all those type of things when my mom and dad passed away. So that's something my mama said in her final days, was that if I'm gone, I've seen all y'all be adults and y'all don't really need me no more. So I'm good. If I'm gone, I'm gone. You know what I mean? It's something that my mama said to us. And that's one of my particular fears, is that I don't want to be gone before I know that Gabe is good. You know what I mean? And even with Sabrina, who's 22, I don't want to be gone before I know she's good too. So my big issue is with the whole thing is, when you're having a child that old in life, it's a selfish decision. You're thinking about yourself more than that child's future. You know what I mean? The average lifespan of is 77 years, right? That's the average lifespan. And for Black people, unfortunately, is lower.
A little bit lower, yeah.
And with that being said, you're putting yourself in a situation where by the time this child is 18, not even a full-blown adult, by the time this child is 18, you're going to be 72 years old, which means you're 5 years away from the average lifespan. Like, most people are dead by 77.
Right.
And then by the time you're 21, you're talking about being 75. You know what I mean? And it's like, yeah, cool. Because a lot of responses were, but she's financially stable. If she's financially stable and in good health, what does it matter? Like, you're putting yourself, you're no matter how much money you have, your quality of life, you're not the same person at 75, 80 as you would be as 40 and 50. You know, like, this just not true. You know what I mean? And a lot of people were throwing exceptions to the rule at me, as opposed to sticking in reality, sticking in the norm. And like I said, I'm not wish the best for this lady. I mean, then I found out this is like her fourth child.
Right.
And I'll kind of wrap up with this conversation real fast, and I'll say this because I found out that this is her fourth child. But I know that there are a lot of people, especially in the celebrity world, that they're getting these procedures done, they're doing these treatments, and they're having children at ages well past when they're supposed to be able to have children, right?
Right.
And I'm going to remove Miss McGee from this situation and just talk about that in particular, because you'll see people who are actors, actresses, celebrities, whatever, and they're making a conscious decision to say, hey, I want to enjoy the prime of my life, not worry about the responsibility of having children, all these type of things. And I'll do this at a later time in life when, it makes more sense to me. But you're not giving your children that same opportunity. Because once you get to be 70, 75, 80 years old, your kids are becoming the parents. Your adult children now are your caregivers. When you're old or sick or whatever, slowing down, your kids, if they have any type of heart, they're going to be ones caring for you. And my thing is, why put yourself in a position where you may not be here at all for your kids? Why put yourself in a position where they have to be your caregiver? And why put yourself in a position where you're not your quality of life is decreased, that much. Does she have the right to do it? Cool. I mean, everybody does. You do whatever you want to do with your body. But I just question. It's just, I don't know. It's just strange to me, man. It's just like I said, I don't, my parents had me at, my mom was 40 when she had me. That was considered old back then. My mom passed away at 72, I believe my mom was when she passed away, something like that. So like I said, man, it's just something to think about, man. It's just something to think about for sure. Matter of fact, I don't even think my mom was that old when she passed away. But anyway, man, the point I'm trying to make is it's selfish to me. Like, you're not totally thinking about the future of the children. You're thinking about, well, I've always wanted kids and I didn't want to do it back then because I wasn't ready or whatever it is. And I know this is not this lady's situation. This is her fourth child. But there are people who consciously do this. Like, they wait until they're 50 years old to have a kid. And now you're old as hell, man. Like, you know what I mean? And you're making your kid be your caregiver when they're entering the prime of their life. You know what I mean? Right. So that's why I say those type of things are selfish. I'm not trying to tell anybody what to do with their body. I just kind of think that I just say there's no way that you're thinking about your children if you're in their future, if this is your decision to have children that late in life.
Well, I think the context that you added to what your thoughts are on it adds another layer of like understanding, right? Like, so I would hope that anybody that gets on your ass about saying what, about this lady doing this would understand where you're coming from, that it's not you telling a woman what to do with her body, but it's you saying, hey, listen, like, think about the kid. What it sounds like to me is I was kind of reading through some of her comments about it. This sounds like a giant oops. Like, I mean, she's 54, man. Like, most women, and I'm not a biologist, so I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I know what's going on inside. Man, I've been married for 14 years and I still go, what's going on right now? Like, what's going on with my wife? Like, what your body's changing. Like, what's happening? But there's this level of that change that happens inside a woman at that age that I think there's probably a thought process. She's probably like, man, I didn't know I could get pregnant still. Like, so could you imagine being 54 and going, wait a second. Like,
I just think it's wild to put an 18, 21, 25-year-old in a situation where they're having to worry about their mom who's 73, 72, 75, 80 years old. And they're trying to live their life. And no matter how much money you're making, you're putting your child in that situation. Like, your money you're going to be old, you know what I mean? And that's inevitable, bro. You're asking your child to be concerned about a parent that's that old when they're about to go start their own personal life. You know what I mean? I think consciously doing that is just selfish to me. I think when you're consciously doing that, I just think that's a very selfish move. Like I said, I had a couple people mad at me. Most people were speaking with respect. Just chose to disagree, but that's fine as well. But no matter how you feel about it, my good friends at Create A Cig can get you right, can get your mind right. If you're stressed out about it, they can de-stress you for sure, whether it's with their nicotine products or with their Delta 8 products. Pop you a gummy, half a gummy, quarter of a gummy, whatever you need to do. Grab that Sain Asylum pack.
Hey, all this is good for you unless you're Trina Mcgee. Don't be taking it. Don't go to Create A Cig and ask
if
for
you're 54 years old and pregnant, you may want to leave this alone.
You may want to leave this stuff alone. Yeah. Don't. I would recommend if you're thinking about it, don't do it.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks again to Lionel Hollins and Ladell Beamon, Heal the Hood Foundation. Remarkable stuff they got going on this weekend. Make sure you go check that out. Make sure you get tickets for Kenny Stubblefield. We got one more, man. It's 100, man.
Let's go, man.
Coming up Friday.
Preemptively, I just want to say,
thank you, brother.
Man, dude. You're the man,
man. Appreciate you. I'm trying to get my money right, man, so I can have me one more baby at 54.
Let's go. Yeah. Hey, you ain't far from 54. Let's go. No, I'm joking. That's
10 more years.
That's
20-year-old. Imagine 20-year-old Gabe looking like, Dad, what the hell are you doing?
Dad, what are you doing?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you mean you got a baby on the way?
Right, exactly. Yeah, man. Well, I hope you don't think about NFL money taking care of my little brother / son. You better give me
You ain't taking my NIL money, man. What are you talking about?
Right.
My $750,000.
Exactly, man. We'll be about to slide about this joint, man. Like I said, for Kenny Stubblefield, it's your boy Anthony Sain. We'll see you guys Friday, episode 100, and we out.
Thank you for listening to the Anthony Sain Show. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a rating and a review wherever you download your podcasts. Also, like and subscribe to Bluff City Media's YouTube page. For comprehensive coverage of Memphis sports, head over to www.bluffcitymedia.co and find out how you can become an insider. We will see you back here next week.